This is the land of the dead, and this is its master. Hades, a god so feared no one would speak his name. His myth reveals how the ancient Greeks viewed death. It is a chilling vision of the one fate no mortal can escape, and it has eerie links to the real ancient world. Curses, ghosts, and secret cults. Prepare to descend into the underworld and experience the story as the ancients heard it. This is the truth behind the myth of Hades. In a lush green pasture, a beautiful young woman picks flowers. Her name is Persephone, and she is being watched. Suddenly, the ground breaks open. An unseen hand reaches up from the darkness and drags her down into the underworld. Hades, god of the dead, has chosen his queen. Hades is mythology's warden of death. He commands the vast and frightening realm that all mortals, good and bad, must enter when they die. It is his job to make sure they never escape. The Greeks wanted nothing to do with Hades, because to know him is to be dead. The myth of Hades was created to make sense of what happens after we die. According to the myth, dead souls enter a vast and gloomy underworld, a realm named after its master, Hades. It is the ancient Greek equivalent of heaven, hell, and limbo, all under one roof. In the myth, there are 3 levels of Hades. Most of the dead descend to the fields of Asphodel, the dreary resting place of the nameless masses. And then there is the place reserved for those who've most offended the gods. A vast abyss, 40,000 miles deep. A dungeon of suffering and eternal torment, surrounded by a flaming river. This is Tartarus. In fact, Tartarus was so closely linked with hell by the early Christians that it was even mentioned in the New Testament. For the fortunate few, paradise awaits in the 3rd realm of Hades, the Islands of the Blessed, the ancient Greek equivalent of heaven. In the myth, all human beings must eventually succumb to Hades' command. For some, that day comes far too soon. Hades has kidnapped a young maiden named Persephone. He holds her captive in the underworld. Persephone is not forgotten. In the world above, her powerful mother is searching for her. She is Demeter, goddess of the harvest, the woman who feeds the world. The ancient Greeks believed Demeter was responsible for the changing of the seasons, and that Persephone's disappearance started the cycle. Faced with the prospect of an endless frost, the other gods command Hades to return Persephone. But Hades has a plan. He offers Persephone a snack of pomegranate seeds. She naively accepts and seals her fate. It is a mistake for which the entire planet will pay. She must now spend 3 months of every year in the underworld, 1 month for every seed she ate. The rest of the year, she can spend with her mother. The ancient Greeks believed Persephone traveled to and from the underworld with each change of seasons. But how did she get there? The answer lies in a cave near the Greek town of Eleusis, just northwest of Athens. To the ancients, this wasn't just a cave. It was a portal of death, a boundary between the land of the living and the land of the dead, and between real life and myth. But this wasn't the only passage into Hades. This was a place of great importance to the ancient Greeks. In fact, experts determined that the ruins found near the cave entrance were the remains of a temple. Among the artifacts discovered there was a stone relief with an inscription reading simply, "To the god and goddess." It was a dedication to a god who couldn't be called by name, a shrine to the angel of death himself, Hades. It was here at Eleusis that ancient Greece's largest religious cult met to worship, a secret society obsessed with death. Surviving texts reveal that the cult members came here in search of a shortcut to paradise, a path to eternal bliss in the realm of Hades. Experts believe the cult at Eleusis may have influenced another religion that promises life after death: Christianity. To the ancient Greeks, this was the face of death. In the myth, Hades is a merciless master of souls. But he was not always this way. He has undergone a dramatic transformation. From forgotten child to feared god. In fact, he was cursed from the moment of birth, when he was eaten alive by his own father. Hades is the ancient Greek god of the underworld, a dark lord who controls all dead souls. But he wasn't always so menacing. In the palace of the gods, a baby's cries pierce the silence. A newborn son. His name is Hades. His father is Cronus, the king of Greece's ruling gods, the Titans. Cronus was told in a prophecy that one of his children would murder him, and he is determined to make sure that doesn't happen. In one swift motion, Cronus consumes his newborn son. Hades and most of his siblings grow up inside their father's stomach. But one child was able to escape Cronus's wrath. His name is Zeus. He returns as a grown god and frees his trapped brothers and sisters. The siblings now unite to form the Olympians and seize control of the universe from their parents in a final clash with the Titans. Hades, Poseidon, and Zeus, the three male Olympians, agree to divide the spoils of conquest. It is a defining moment for Hades, one that will forever determine the power structure of the gods. Hades is the oldest child, and according to the real Greek law of the time, that gives him an advantage. But Zeus, the youngest brother, has his own ambitions to rule the world. It is a clash between Zeus's ambition and Hades' birthright. The brothers decide to draw lots. Whoever wins the heavens will become the king of the gods. The gods draw. Poseidon claims the seas. Zeus claims the heavens, thus becoming mythology's supreme commander. And Hades draws the short straw. He is left with the land of the dead. It is a tragic turning point for Hades. He could have ruled the universe. Instead, he is condemned to the realm of the dead. Hades' new home is dark, bleak, and filled with the sadness of dead souls. Ancient texts describe it as a dank expanse of caves and rivers. So goes the myth. But could it be based on reality? This is Diros, a network of caves that runs for miles beneath Greece. Its maze of rivers and caverns match the ancient descriptions of Hades perfectly. The ancient Greeks were terrified of Hades and his morbid realm, but they were even more afraid of the dead souls who were denied access to it. According to the myth, these rejected spirits would return to haunt the living. Ghosts. According to Greek myth, the god Hades rules a dark and dank universe. The underworld of the dead. Hades assembles a gang of enforcers to watch over his dead souls. Cerberus, a ferocious three-headed guard dog. The 100 Handers, prison guards of Tartarus. And the principal henchman of Hades, John C.